All right, so Zach, what is this and what are you working on here?
So people my age or older were exposed late 70s, early 80s to something called, in America, G-Force or Battle of the Planets, where in Japan this was Gatchaman. As I'm reviewing it again to do this cover for the relaunch of this IP here in America through Mag Cave, it's interesting reviewing it because you see the differences of the Japanese version versus how they Americanized it. They kind of nerfed it a bit. There were no deaths, where in the Japanese one, like, buildings explode and dams fall apart, blah, blah, blah.
They really sanitized it.
Yes, exactly. Like a lot of people, it lit up my childhood. So when I got asked to be part of this, I was obviously said yes immediately. And so this is my version of Joe the Condor. I think in the American version he was Jason. He's kind of the Wolverine or Wolverine Batman, whatever, of the group. He's kind of a little dark. He doesn't follow the rules as much. He's always kind of the contrarian, throws darts, these little things that have feathers on them. Luckily, you can't see him in this. Has a gun that can do all these different things. Has a race car called the Space Mobile, I believe.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, pretty fancy. And it gets sucked up into the spaceship. All their vehicles get kind of picked up to the spaceship. And you can really see how it influenced so many other things that I've seen in my life. And for animation forever, it was so much more dynamic. All the angles, how they fought. When people get punched, they'd spin around and fall down.
Yeah.
Up shots, down shots, how the vehicles transform, like with all the gears and these equipment that would lift other vehicles. And it was just so different than everything. I'm watching the Flintstones and
Right.
things like that.
I do genuinely love how that's in art that's often referred to as the Japanese invasion, the way the Beatles and music caused the British invasion.
It's accurate. Yeah, nice and dark. I'm going to have him standing actually on the wing of a plane and kind of turning ready, whoever's sneaking up on him. He's ready to defend him with a karate chop and then shoot him in the butt with a... whatever gun.
A space gun.
Space gun. I don't know what his gun is called. I was trying to think of the damn name.
So this piece was actually giving you a bit of trouble in its construction. Can you break down, where, why, and how?
Yes, because the series was so dynamic, and there's 5 or 6 of these covers that are all drawn by much better artists than me. I got to bring the noise. So I wanted to do a really, really dynamic pose, but also a dynamic, camera angle. And then on top of that, really emphasize, one, the length of character. I seldom do that with my characters, but I've been doing it lately. And along with that is emphasizing foreshortening. It's unrealistic, but within the reality of this character and this piece, it works. The physics, the camera, everything like that. So I'm toying with the foreshortening. Made his gun a little bit crazy big, though it might be the right size. I don't know. It's pretty big. But you have the twist of the character. So, we got the hips kind of torqued against each other. We got the 3/4 down shot, but the hand is high enough that it's starting to come up past the camera. So it distorts everything. Nice lean. As you can see, the gun intersects the other major shape throughout it. So you create that nice T for
Show us
design.
the shapes and lay out the shapes there for us.
So the line that you could take through this gun whoosh, intersects, it's kind of perpendicular to the line that would be this hand.
Okay.
So by doing that, it creates interest within the design, that conflict where they intersect each other. On top of that, it creates a triangle. Rule of thirds comes into play. So if you go rule of thirds, his head, boink, right on the corner of the rule of thirds. It will overlap, it and the hand will overlap the title. So laying this whole thing out took a bit. You watched me do it. I had to really figure out and get permission that I could put the title behind it. You got to see enough of the title
right,
that you can kind of tell what it is.
Yeah. That's a conversation you actually have to have with the publisher or whoever has you doing the piece.
Yeah, and I didn't have a lot of direction. They're basically saying, do whatever you want. I had to do several thumbnails for them to choose from. However, they chose my first one, which I was very excited about. That doesn't go well often, Clara. They always choose the worst pile of farts.
Surprisingly, they often do.
Yes.
You were saying the twist in the hips was what was giving you a lot of trouble on this guy.
Yeah, so this is a 3/4 down shot with a rotation at the hips, a dipping of the shoulders, and an arms up. So there's all sorts of things happening with the rib cage, spine, hips, and shoulders. So I had to really work that out. And once we got to the hips, it's at a rough angle because we're at, a profile side shot basically right at his hips. But by the time you get here, you get a rotated leaning shoulder plus rotation, so you see the chest. So you see part of the abs and rib cage come over. I'm not the best at anatomy, so it took me a long time to really get it within this kind of elongated, fun distortion type of shot character, anatomy pose. And as you can see, there's nothing realistic about anything going on here.
Right.
I'm distorting things and sizes and ratios just to get them in the right place and to create the right flow through this. So I got an S curve, I got a triangle, and then I got it's a double triangle basically. Boom, 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 head to feet, gun to head, elbow. So creating that triangle and then putting the focal point of his head and the hand on the, the golden ratio. So rule of thirds. I'm a big fan of the rule of thirds. All the intersects on the thirds are obviously the hot spots. Because the title falls behind it, I don't shrink the rule of thirds down to make room for the title. I actually let it fall behind as a design element. And here you go. You get a sneak peek at Gatchaman. Don't tell anyone. And look for the final inks and colors, which I'll post on here as well. Right?
Oh, there we go.
Hold on.
Perfect.